Yo, what's going on guys? Ian77 here. In today's video, we're going to be playing the best hog deck for mid-ladder. Alright, so hopping in the first match here, we're going to be up against this guy. So yeah, in today's video, we're going to be using Hog Lightning, and I kind of want to have this video be sort of like a bit of a guide for how to get through mid-ladder. I feel like a lot of you guys still are kind of commenting like pretty much every day on like how to kind of improve and break through that point where a lot of the player base is kind of stuck at. On this account we are just about like 5,400 right now, and maybe throughout the video we can kind of push a little bit higher as well, but yeah, I feel like it's probably where a lot of you guys are. I know some of you guys might be like a little bit higher, maybe towards the higher 6k range, but you guys should still be able to take away some stuff from this video as well. And yeah, and I would definitely recommend this deck for mid-ladder. I feel like it's a super good hog deck. It's like really solid, and also it's really nice to have the lightning over the earthquake, as I always say, because when you're playing mid-ladder, you never know if you have to like waste your Tesla maybe on like a, I don't know, just like if you have an awkward cycle and they play something random in the back and you don't really have a good play except of a Tesla. Sometimes you do have to like kind of cycle your Teslas, and if they happen to have like a balloon or something, as random mid-ladder decks tend to have, you could be kind of screwed if you don't have like a lightning or a rocket. So I think this deck is also viable with rocket in it for mid-ladder, but I feel like lightning is just a little bit better just to like counter those witches and wizards and kind of get a little bit more value against those glass cannon units like wizards and all of that stuff, just because it can hit multiple of those things at once. So yeah, I feel like this is the ideal version here, and looks like in the first match we're going to be facing like a weird P.E.K.K.A. E-Barbs deck, so yeah, honestly super good defense. There wasn't really talking about the match too much, but we pretty much just like activated our King Tower and just kited his troops all around, and you can see that we really capitalized from the positive trades on defense. We got a ton of damage on the offensive end right there. So yeah, so I'm being kind of like aggressive here, but honestly in mid-ladder, for mid-ladder in general, like I already know I'm gonna win here, but like in general you kind of want to be like really defensive with your gameplay. Like you don't really want to be too aggressive. Like if your opponent goes with like a P.E.K.K.A. in the back, sometimes it's better to just like defend with like your whatever units you have in your deck or in cycle, and you kind of just want to be just a little bit more passive, kind of just like feeling out what your opponent is going to be exactly running, because you never really know what mid-ladder could end up throwing at you. And yeah, you kind of just want to use your cards a little bit more wisely. Even though this is a cycle, like you do kind of want to save your cards a little bit more, save your Teslas if possible. I know it's not always possible, but whenever you can, try to save your important defensive cards, and that will be good game here. Alright, so we found our next match here, and we're going to be up against this guy. Looks like he will be playing minor wall breakers, and he does have maxed out wall breakers, so honestly most of these people that I'm facing here have pretty low level King Towers, but a lot of them just have like completely maxed cards, or at least some max cards. That's the one kind of downfall of like this new progression system in Clash Royale. Like it helps people level up for sure, but it also kind of helps those over-leveled players that just want to have like one extremely over-leveled deck, but then the rest of their cards are super low level. So I'm not really too sure how to feel about it, but I'm gonna see what we can do here in this match. And yeah, so as I was saying before, I don't remember exactly where I left off or what exactly I was talking about, but yeah, I gave like a few tips on mid-ladder, and you kind of just like also want to focus on one deck, like as everyone says, but you do kind of want to, you don't honestly have to focus on one deck like most people say. I feel like it's a lot better to just like focus on one archetype. So like for me, if I was playing mid-ladder as like my main account, for example, like I'd be focusing on like just a Hog Rider deck. If I could only have like one archetype max, I'd be focusing on just Hogs. So instead of like focusing on one deck, it's probably a bit better for you guys to kind of try to focus on just one archetype. So like you could just focus on Hog, and like if a few cards get nerfed, or like you kind of want to switch some things up because it wasn't working too well, it's kind of better to just like stick to one archetype, and then you can kind of like switch out the support cards here and there whenever you need to, based on like balance changes and what different stuff you face as you kind of progress through the game. So yeah, that's definitely another good tip for you guys. And yeah, I guess I'll just commentate over this match now. So we are going to be against some weird minor wall breakers deck, and it does have Inferno Tower as well in this deck, which is honestly pretty good to have Lightning in. Don't really have enough Elixir for Lightning right here, but it is going to be nice to like reset the Inferno Towers. But as you can see, like they're even able to log away our Firecrackers and stuff like that, just because it is kind of underleveled. I'm not like absurdly underleveled. Well, some of my cards definitely are, at least in this match, but in general I feel like it's okay. But the thing is, it's just like so inconsistent in mid ladder. Like sometimes I'll face people that are like level like with level 10 cards, like maybe just a little bit higher than me, but then other times they'll have this like basically full max decks. So I feel your guys' pain, I guess you could say. And just gonna go with the Hog Rider right here. I think we should be able to combo it with a Lightning. Yeah, and you do have to be like pretty careful with this deck, especially in mid ladder, because if you go with an aggressive Hog Lightning, you could easily be punished depending on like what cards they have. So before you go in with the Hog Lightning, you want to be like absolutely sure that they can't really punish you for it in that moment, and you kind of know what their full deck is. So yeah, just good to be a little bit careful here, because it's not an Earthquake, it's a lot more expensive, so you can't really get away with cycling it most of the time. Yeah, so we're able to catch up pretty well right here. I have to make sure we can defend this Valkyrie well. Did have to use our Valkyrie on his Miner. Honestly, Miners are pretty annoying for me in mid ladder, just because like overleveled Miners are so good against underleveled towers, I feel like. And he's kind of just gonna give us that free lightning value on his Inferno Tower right there. And now he doesn't have anything for our Hog, I think, so I'm not really too sure how he's gonna stop this. It is gonna get one shot on his tower, and at this point, just have to cycle through Lightning, and that will be good game. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're going to be up against this guy, and we do have Hog in our starting hand here, so just going to go with it right here, first play. It is always good to be a little bit more passive sometimes in mid ladder, but I feel like we have a pretty good cycle to defend whatever he might throw at us right here, so I'm not really too worried about it. And I know a lot of you guys don't have champions unlocked, especially those of you at mid ladder, so I feel like this deck is kind of perfect for you. And honestly, Firecracker is super good at mid ladder. Like, they don't really ever have like too many ways to kill it unless they happen to have arrows, like I guess this guy's gonna have right here. But you can see it's like just like kind of bringing everything to the middle and just like destroying it. So yeah, looking pretty good right here. And Firecracker is gonna kind of finish off the Goblin Barrel pretty well as well. So nice defense. Alright, and yeah, of course when you're playing this Firecracker deck, the one thing you do kind of sacrifice, they can often get like a free king activation off the Firecracker, but sometimes if you're playing your cards really smartly, especially your Firecrackers, you can kind of make sure that they can't really get that king activation. So it's kind of just a matter of you like making sure you only play Firecrackers at like the perfect time. And yeah, so here's an example of me cycling a Tesla. Didn't really want to waste a Valkyrie just in case, because I know he does have like a giant skeleton and all of that stuff, so I don't really want to waste a Valkyrie on it. But yeah, that could kind of leave us open to like a balloon push or something like that. But luckily we do have lightning in the deck, so we're going to be prepared either way. And now we're just going to kind of wait and see what he does. It looks like he does have Mother Witch in his deck, which honestly could be a little bit annoying at times, but it looks like he's going to kind of play it right into the Firecracker, so I'm not really going to do too much right here. And Goblin Barrel might get a little bit of chip damage here, but our Hog should get like even more chip damage, or not really chip damage at this point, pretty much just like taking like half his tower. But yeah, looking pretty good right here for us so far. Yeah, so the nice thing about this deck is that even when you have Firecracker and they have arrows, you can still like cycle really fast with this deck, so you can always like out-cycle their arrows. So I feel like Firecracker can almost always get value. And I know some of you guys kind of like running these decks with like Royal Delivery instead of like maybe like Ice Spirit or something, but honestly I feel like if you have the card levels and you have like the skill level, I feel like the Ice Spirit is quite a lot better, just so that you can cycle through as many of those Firecrackers as possible. And it kind of just gives more outplay potential, I feel like. Honestly, I feel like the cheaper your deck is, the more outplay potential it has, at least most of the time. That's what I've kind of noticed, at least for the Hog decks that I've been playing. But if you guys are like a little bit higher in mid ladder and you kind of have like champions unlocked, but by any chance. Like, I'm not sure if any of you guys actually do, but if you do, I feel like Hog Queen with the delivery would probably be good. And that will be a good game right here. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're going to be up against this guy. So, with this deck, like, I didn't really mention the starting plays, but it's pretty much the same as usual. You kind of want to be a little bit more passive than with Hog Earthquake, just because you don't really have quite as quick of a cycle, but Hog first play is always fine, to be honest. Unless you just want to be extra safe, it's fine to kind of wait a few seconds, then maybe go in with the Hog, but honestly, the card you don't want to ever cycle first play is probably going to be Firecracker, just because it could easily give your opponent a free king activation, and you might need it against like a Lava Hound or something like that, so it's never really good to be cycling your Firecrackers. But besides that, you can pretty much cycle anything. You can even cycle a Valkyrie sometimes, but yeah. And unfortunately, I think that Giant Skeleton might have actually got death damage. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I completely spaced out there. I really thought it wouldn't get any death damage, but just because he's so overleveled, he did end up getting the death damage, and that's going to take like half of our tower, but luckily the Hog did get quite a few shots on his tower as well, so we're kind of not too far behind here. And just going to cycle back to another Hog Rider as quickly as possible. He's going to play the Wizard in the back, but Hog should still get like maybe 2 shots. It's kind of hard to tell like what some of the interactions are, just because we're so underleveled a lot of the time, but it is still pretty accurate, I feel like. But you do kind of have to like keep that in mind, that like some of the interactions will be a lot different just because of the levels, unless you guys do happen to be maxed out. Yeah, so just gonna kind of chill out right here. When you're playing Hog Lightning, you don't always have to like be making the play. Sometimes it is okay to leak a few elixir. I'm just gonna be playing my cards right on time just for the sake of the video, but if any of you guys do end up trying this deck in mid-ladder, sometimes it is better to kind of just like leak a few elixir before you make different plays, just because this deck is a little bit heavier than Hog Earthquake is. And yeah, like with this deck, you kind of just like wanna beat most opponents like by the surprise factor that you get with the Lightning. And looks like he's gonna go for a super far juke barrel there, but honestly the Firecracker gonna clean it up pretty nicely right there, and you can see how good Lightning is there. Like, it just completely destroyed that Wizard and did a lot of damage to the Giant Skeleton and tower. But if we had an Earthquake in there, it would have been super problematic for us to defend this push. And yeah, he does go with the Goblin Barrel there. And honestly, just a tip for you guys, like if your opponents are ever going with like a lot of juke barrels, you can always just like cycle your log with a little bit behind your tower, and if they go with like a far back barrel, the log will hit it. But even if they go with a normal like placement of the barrel, it will still also hit the goblins. So just a little tip for you guys, and that will be a good game right here. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're going to be up against this guy, and we do have Hog in our next card here, so just going to cycle to make sure we have a Hog in hand. I'm just going to go for it right here, but unfortunately we do cycle it right as he goes with the Witch, so probably not really going to get too much damage. Ewis does deny all of the hits, but yeah, so just going to see what he's playing here. Honestly, okay, he activated a King Tower. That's nice. And yeah, so you can always surround witches with skeletons if you guys didn't know, so that did actually help us have a pretty flawless defense right there. And you know, I'm still gonna leave this in the video even though they misplayed pretty badly, just because like that's pretty much what any mid-ladder player would do, to be fair. So, you know, I'm just gonna go with an Ice Barrier to kind of distract the Firecracker. We'll also kind of slow down the Mega Knight for a second, but also does soak up that Firecracker hit. And just gonna go with a Valkyrie in this position. Like, I know a lot of you guys are probably like kind of cycling your Valkyries like closer to the Mega Knight so that it doesn't get the jump on it, but it's actually better to go with your Valkyries in that lower position, just that your King Tower can also shoot it, and also your second Princess Tower. Like, I know I didn't have the second Princess Tower shoot it right there, but if you actually place like the Valkyrie like a tile lower or so, then that it will actually have both of the Princess Towers DPSing down the Mega Knight. I just didn't want to play it any lower just because of the Firecracker was kind of like in the way right there, but yeah, still defended pretty well. And it's always really nice getting your King activated with this deck. It really helps against those weird Mega Knight decks like this guy is running right here. And And yeah, so we're just gonna kind of pre-plant these Teslas right here. I feel like the only real match that you would be pretty scared of pre-cycling your Teslas against would probably be against like balloon decks, but I feel like I haven't actually seen too many balloon decks in mid-ladder recently. Not really sure if you guys face it a lot or not. I feel like sometimes I just face balloon in the most random decks, but other times I don't face it for like quite a while. So yeah, quite interesting, but you don't really have to worry about balloon too much if you like. And you do always have lightning as like a second response if you need it. Yeah, so he is in a slight lead right now, and he does have arrows as well, so it's going to be a little bit hard to get too much value out of the Firecracker, but hopefully we can kind of like slowly come back. And he's going to give us a free lightning there on the witch, and maybe we can kind of just like catch up just by like lightning cycling him and maybe getting a bit of incidental chip damage by whatever means. And yeah, so he's going to kind of let us get that free hog hit there. He's not really playing his cards too well. As you guys can see, like these mid-ladder players are making like quite a few mistakes, but it is probably still accurate to what most of you guys are going to be facing. And yeah, so we're kind of just going to sneak this hog through there. It looks like it is going to get quite a bit of damage, and lightning should be able to finish it off. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!